What's going on, everybody? Stefan Martinez, Nicholas Gambaro. Ton of stuff to get into today. Another exciting edition of Nick's Corner. I got a lot of good feedback on that. So hopefully this guy got some good stuff for you. We didn't discuss anything before the show. So this is all going to be new to me, too. I want to start with this. And usually we start with football on Thursdays, and we'll get to the football in a little bit. But there are two relevant baseball teams in this city now. So I think it's fair to start with the rumors that I've been hearing all day. Yes, we're all paying attention to what's happening with the presidential election for obvious reasons. But there's some stuff on the stove that is fairly hot and fairly interesting. And Big Dog, I would like to take on a few of these items. It has come out today, according to Bob Nightingale, the USA Today, that Francisco Lindor is on the trade block. And I thought about it, and I said to myself, the New York Mets are the ideal place for Francisco Lindor to go. And the reason why I say that, as John chimes in with the Let's Go Jets, the reason why I say I think the New York Mets are the perfect candidate for Francisco Lindor is because the guy does everything. Yes, he struggled during the shortened season. Yes, he hit in the low 210s. Yes, he struggled. But over a full season, this guy hits over 30 home runs a year. His batting average is close to 280, and he pays a Gold Glove shortstop. Oh, by the way, he's a switch hitter. He is due to make, I think the figure is $24 million.
What's up, Doug?
What's up, Dougie? How you doing, buddy? $24 million over his last season in arbitration. And I know previous Met ownership would have said $24 million. We're not going anywhere near that. This Met ownership is very different. And I know the obvious question is, would you kick the tires on Francisco Lindor? We all would. Would you give him a long-term extension, Big Dog? Because he is 26, 27 years old. He is, 26, 27 in that range. He's getting not older. He's still in his prime. Would you give him an extent? Would you sign him first off, and would you give him the extension?
I would, yeah. I would definitely sign him. He'd be a huge addition for the Mets, especially in the infield. And giving him a long-term extension is not a bad idea. I mean, Cohen has the money. Plus, he's still young. He's not even 30 yet. So it could be a key deal for the Mets. And that's one piece that can really work out for them, especially another big bat in the lineup and a great glove. So, yeah, I think it would be an awesome move for the Mets. And they seem to be the number one team that can get him. So,
well, there are a few teams in the mix. I know that the Dodgers are, they haven't left that totally closed. I know. What about Jimenez then? That's a very interesting question, Dougie. And I'll tell you why. I like Jimenez's glove. Me and Big Dog were talking about this the other day. Jimenez's glove is elite. I don't know, however, if the bat is going to play at the big league level right away. And if you're the Mets, with this new expectation, with this new money, with an owner that seems to be willing to win, I don't think that they're going to take the time to watch him develop in the middle of their infield when a piece like Francisco Lindor, who is primed and ready to go, is ready to make the move for the Mets right now. Now, is it the best move for the Mets? I don't think so. I think I would go get JT Realmuto, a catcher, and I think I'd go sign Trevor Bauer. If it was me running the Mets, Francisco Lindor would probably be the third thing on my list of importance.
Really?
Yes. Because I think the catching position is big. You've seen it in the postseason with Trey Rosario is interesting.
Yes.
I know that, other Met fans have talked about that. Other Met fans have had discussions about that. But I don't know what he'll get you back in terms of value. I don't know what he would get you back solely in terms of value. I know there was a package that was discussed with Rosario and JD Davis and Jimenez going to Cleveland for Francisco Lindor. However, I don't think that that is enough for the Cleveland Indians. I don't think the Cleveland Indians look at that and say that that's a good idea. Now, James McCann is interesting, and that's who you're referencing. James McCann, who's the former catcher of the White Sox and Tigers. He's interesting. I think you could get him at a reasonable price, but JT Realmuto is the best catcher in the sport, and there's something to be said when you have a guy that can do it all on both sides of the ball. This guy is an elite defensive catcher. He's an elite offensive catcher, which Mets fans have seen for years. He absolutely murders the Mets. I was looking at his numbers. He has a career batting average of close to 370 against the Mets. So I think that's a guy you kind of want to sign if you can.
Yes.
Look, I don't know if it's automatically realistic. No, I wouldn't say that. That's a misnomer. I think he's gonna go wherever the money is. You could say he hates New York, but if the money is good and the money feels like, okay, I can go here and build, then he's gonna come here. Like there's all these narratives about, oh, this player hates New York and this player. Listen, they said the same thing about CC Sabathia in 2008, and the Yankees came up with 160 million, and he loved New York. Okay, so if the check is good, then they'll come.
No.
Exactly. The other thing I want to talk about here, and I think you'll find this interesting, is they're having conversations in Chicago with the Cubs. When do we pull the trigger on a possible Javi Baez trade? Do we contemplate that idea? Do we trade a Chris Bryant before free agency? Because Chris Bryant is a Scott Boras client. Is Chris Bryant someone that the Cubs say, you know what? Let's pull the trigger and trade him. Do you turn around now and look at the Cubs roster differently going into next season? Because, look, Javier Baez is a magician. Chris Bryant is special when he's on the field. You like the Cubs a lot. You love Rizzo. They just picked up his option, by the way, for 2021. So he's going to be in Chicago next season. The question that I would have if I'm the Cubs is, did you wait too late to do this? Did you wait a year too late to do this? Should you have started this last year? Now, I don't know if I traded Javier Baez. I think that's a little crazy. However, I do think that there needs to be a conversation in which, you look at Theo, you look at Jed Hoyer, you look at everything going on in Chicago, and you say, we might have to blow this up. And can you imagine Met fans? And can you imagine Yankee fans if both of either Javier Baez and Chris Bryant are both wearing Yankee and Met uniforms in the next 2 to 3 years? Because it's feasible. It's feasible.
I feel like it's going to be a bidding war in the city. I think you're going to see the next few years now. I should, right? Good. I love Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, I could see the Yankees and Mets just getting superstar after super. Like one buys this guy, one buys this guy. Like I think it's going to be a battle. I think financially and also competitively, who's the better team, and just with the Cubs, I think. And you talked about this, and me and you spoke about it, that when will that time be when they're going to, kind of, all right, like it's time. Like as much as we love these dudes, and it would be, because again, I get attached. So like it would be really hard for me to trade. But someone like you, I could see you probably would have traded them maybe a year after the World Series. Like 2017.
When their value was highest, yeah.
They went deep, right, in 2017. I know they didn't make it to the World Series, but they made a fairly deep run, right?
They got to the NLCS, but it never felt like they got back to that.
That's
place.
when you would have done it, right? or would you have done it even sooner than that?
I would have waited till 18. I would have figured out what they were going to do. First of all, you got to remember, Joe Madden, he wasn't going to manage a rebuilding club. So as long as Joe Madden was under contract, you kind of had to keep things not status quo, but you didn't want to blow it up all the way because then you're like, well, who's he managing then if he has no team? So that's kind of what they thought. And here's the other thing too. Like, this is the thing. I don't know if I would have traded Javier Baez per se because I think that's hard. He's the face of the franchise. I don't think I'm understating that. But when you know somebody's a Scott Boras client, you kind of got to already know, hey, man, if we ain't coming out the gate with at least 250, 300 million for this dude, he's probably leaving. So if I'm the Cubs, I would have investigated a deal in which Chris Bryant would have been wearing another uniform because look at the Cubs farm system now. It's really not that good. And that's when you could have recouped and said, you know what, it would have sucked to trade this guy. But if you could have gotten a return on your investment, now look at Chris Bryant. He's dealt with injuries over the past couple of years. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's dealt with various numbers of ailments, whether it be the shoulder or, you know, whatever it is that he's dealing with. You look at it now and you go, damn, I wonder if we would have traded him earlier if we could have gotten events value back. Similar to what I said with the Mets in 15. And I know we've talked about this on the show before, but now you see how it works and you're like, I wonder if they did that, if the outcome's a little bit different. You know, if the farm system is stocked deeper. Where now you're looking at a Lindor trade and you're going, maybe this is realistic. Maybe this is doable. Because maybe we go to the Indians now and say, listen, you can't have any of our top prospects, but you can definitely have some of our fringe level guys who are still big league quality who can make an impact on your club. Now it's kind of hard to do.
Do you think Steve Cohen goes after Jed Hoyer or Theo Epstein and tries to get them into the front office somehow?
That is interesting because it's so funny you say that because I don't necessarily think he tries to do that. I think he's going to let Sandy kind of work that out because this is Sandy's front office to kind of reshape and mold. One thing I do know is that I don't think Brody's going to be here for the long term. I do know that. I don't think Brody is Sandy's ideal candidate. I think it feels like Brody and Sandy are going to have very conflicting relationships, if you will. So I don't necessarily know if that works, but I will say that I do enjoy the idea of that, you know, Jed Hoyer's in your front office. I do enjoy that idea. I do enjoy the idea of the Mets calling for a Tim Naring, the Yankees head scout, and going, hey, Tim, you want to come be the general manager of my club? I think that's fascinating. I think there are a myriad of options for Sandy Alderson, for Steve Cohen, for the crew, and it feels interesting to me for so many reasons. The Mets feel like the car that you're about to fix up. You know, it's had some scratches,
rough years.
You know what I'm saying? But it finally feels like if we can give this car a nice paint job, we fix the motor a little more. Yeah, you know, the Mets feel like the reclamation project that is finally going to go right. Unlike the New York other teams in this town outside of the Yankees, we're talking to you Jets, Giants, and Knicks. Good Lord. Is it me, big dog? I don't mean a sidebar here, but it feels like New York is like always in a state of rebuild.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, since 2012, I mean, that's the last time a team's won the championship or even been to a final. Because that year you had the Braves winning, and you had the Devils going to the Stanley Cup final. And then after,
Right.
you know, it's, but,
Lipton, if you're watching, we're looking for a sponsor. I got you.
the Yankees, they're always going to be the Yankees. The Islanders they're on the cusp of a championship. The Mets now with Cohen look like they can build something. But
Right.
football's been a train wreck. I mean, the Giants had the one playoff season in 2016, but that didn't end well. The Knicks are always in disarray. The Jets are the Jets. I mean, there's really not much to talk about there. So,
right.
The Rangers,
and I know you.
champions.
I know you. Yeah, the Rangers too. Yeah, but speaking of the Jets, I know we're gonna get to the Douglas's comments a little later on in the show during Nick's Corner, so we'll table that for now. One more thing on baseball, and then we're moving on from this subject because I want to get to some stuff in the NBA real quick, and then we'll move on to the NFL this Thursday night game and go through some stuff, and then on to the fun portion of the show, which is Nick's Corner, which we all came to see. Anyway, I know I came to see it. I'm an audience member like you guys tonight, baby. Let's go. I'm very intrigued with three things. Three names I'm going to throw at you, and I want your perspective. I want your response to all three of these names, possibly wearing either Met uniforms, Met uniform, Yankee uniform. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
John? I'm curious.
Yeah, I want your input on that. I don't necessarily agree with that. Now, as we wait for his response, let's start at the top of the food chain. Trevor Bauer. Because I think he's going to test the market. Ultimately, I do think he ends up, if I had to guess, I'm going to say interesting spot. I think Trevor Bauer ends up in either Oakland or San Francisco.
Interesting.
And that seems interesting, but I don't see the New York teams running after Trevor Bauer. Now, the stuff plays, no doubt about it, but there's something that's quirky about the dude. I know the Mets have the money. I know the Mets, you definitely would like to add another pitcher to DeGrom and what they got going on. But with all his not shenanigans, but he's very outspoken off the field. Do you think that the New York market would embrace that? Or do you think he would kind of be looked at as like, yeah, this dude's a little bit much?
Yeah, I think people would say he's a bit much. I don't know if he's good for New York. Now, Francisco Lindor would be. Some other guys out there in the free agent market.
Got that magnetic smile. Yo, Frankie Smile is just the guy. He's magnetic. Two names that are interesting that I keep hearing about are DJ LeMahieu.
Mm-hmm.
And another trade possibility is Josh Hader. Josh Hader, there's conversations right now that Milwaukee's looking for like top flight talent and they want to do something. And a team that I keep hearing about connected to Josh Hader is the Tampa Bay Rays. If Tampa pulls up a deal for Josh Hader, let's go home, kids. Let's go home. As we get to John's response, I feel like Stanton's going to be. Judge is probably going to get traded. It's not going to be good. Judge is going to get traded. Stanton's gone. Torres was. See, I have to parse all that. And say I disagree with some of it. Torres was not bad this year. Torres was a hurt this year. It's a 60-game season. Let's remember how small the sample size was. The season before that, Gleyber Torres hit 39 home runs. He was probably the best player on the team. Okay? The Stanton contract, you can't move. You're stuck with that. Okay? So I agree with you there. Aaron Judge, I would trade just because he's not staying on the field. Not that I don't think he's not worth you know, keeping on to and investing in if he's healthy, but he's never healthy. Them falling apart is a huge misnomer, and I'm gonna tell you why it's a misnomer. Because the young pitching they have is quite good still. Okay, Clark Schmidt, David Garcia, Michael King. Pitching wins championships. I don't care about not that I don't care about the offense, but look at what Tampa did with a very minimal offense. They pitched their way to this World Series. So if your pitching is good, yes, you want the superstar names. I get it. But I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. I don't see you losing an Aaron Judge as a bad thing. Now, granted, you like the power in the middle of your lineup? Yes. But power doesn't play in the postseason because if it did, then the Yankees would have been winning World Series after World Series with this lineup. The problem is, I don't think Brian Cashman's going to let them completely fall apart. He's too smart for that to happen. And with the Mets coming into new money, the Steinbrenner family is going to be like, yo, listen, screw this. Let's get to work because I don't really want to be upstaged. So I think the Yankees' demise is greatly exaggerated because I see them retinkering the roster, yes, but I don't see them actually completely falling apart. I think that's a bit much. But I respect their position. Oh, Gary Sanchez, and the Gary Sanchez point, there's a lot of believers in him in the organization still. Now, would I trade him? Yes. But there's a lot of believers in Gary Sanchez, and it starts with Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman loves the guy. He thinks he can get him back. He thinks they can unlock something in him. So I don't think the Yankees are going to give up on Gary Sanchez until
Here's
they
a
absolutely
question
have
for
to.
you and John. Oh, the pitching is great, but the offense is not going to be that great in like 3 years or two.
Well, here's the problem. Offense doesn't look. Okay, so obviously, look, Tampa's offense wasn't great. Where's Tampa? Tampa's offense was not great, and they got to the World Series. You can say the offense is not going to be great. You know why? Because you're not going to be hitting that many home runs. If you get me a bunch of baseball players, which I always use as a cliche, and then we'll get to your question. Because I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I don't know if that I'm worried about the offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm worried about that. Zach, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Zach?
How you doing? I don't know if I'm necessarily worried about that. I think, you got to keep developing the pitching, and the offense will come when it comes. I think you see Jason Dominguez in the next year or two, who was aptly named the Martian. I think you start to see the Yankees do some. They need a bunch of DJs. That's funny. We'll see what's up, man. We'll see what's up. I'm not totally willing to, call it as of yet. But Big Dog, what was your question before I rudely cut you off? I apologize.
It's all right. Is Aaron Boone on the hot seat this season?
Here's my thing about that. And I know people will say, yeah, he should be. He should be. That's a fair criticism if that's the way you want to go. Here's my problem. If you put Aaron Boone on the hot seat, then you're saying your whole front office structure is wrong. Because he's doing exactly what the front office wants him to do. So if you fire Aaron Boone, you basically need to fire everybody in your front office, including Brian Cashman.
Which ain't happening. So
exactly. So we can say interesting. We can say, I'm not even going to get into Joe Girardi. We can say, well, is Aaron Boone on the hot seat? That's a fair question to ask under normal circumstances. However, these are not normal circumstances because Aaron Boone is doing exactly what the front office wants him to do. He's doing as the front office instructs him to do. So if you're going to say that Aaron Boone is on the hot seat, then you have to start with people at the top of the front office. And I don't think anybody's in jeopardy. Brian Cashman's almost like a part of the family. Then it's like trading one of their letting go of one of their kids. This ain't George. The Suns ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, the father would
So that's-
fire him. Probably.
Oh, the father
Even
would have. The father would. Oh man, yeah. So while it's a fair question, Big Dog, I don't think so because I think he's doing
I
exactly.
was just curious.
I think he's doing exactly what the front office wants
I
him
don't
to
think
do.
he needs to be fired. It's too soon.
I mean, look? Last I checked, the guy won 100
But the way
games
baseball
back-to-back.
is going, like I said, just have analytical people be managers because there's basically no point anymore having a baseball guy in there.
I've been saying that for years. What good is the manager if you're not going to let him manage?
Yep.
Which is why I'm so fascinated with what happens in Chicago with the White Sox and Tony La Russa, who's the antithesis, and I can't even say the word,
Antithesis.
who's the exact antithesis of analytics. He's the opposite. He does things his own way.
Old
So
school
you can
guy,
say,
yeah.
yeah, you could say analytics are the way of the world when Jerry Reinsdorf says, hey, we're gonna pull the 76-year-old guy, put him back on the bench, and go to work. I don't think analytics is that big of a listen, it's big. I get it's important. I'm not
It's too much.
diminishing
It's too much. And then now they try and put it in other sports. I'm like, nah, see, now they try and put it in hockey and football. Nah.
Right.
Like numbers are important, but no, you can't. You can't coach a game based on that. You can't.
Like, can we remember these guys are human beings?
Right. You gotta be in the moment.
Out. Right.
If a pitch is dealing, why take him out? If a goalie's hot, why take him out? You know,
exactly.
Great, playing great, why take him out?
And the analytical crowd will tell you they don't believe in hot, which is complete. That's
blasphemy.
Crazy. That's disrespectful to the nth degree. So if a guy is, let's say a guy is 7 for 14 over his last 14 for 28 over his last 4 games, you're gonna pull the guy because you don't believe in hot? Are you kidding me? What is this? That and then they have the audacity to defend it. Oh, well, you know, the numbers say if he plays an extra game in a row, he's gonna get tired. Or the numbers say if he does that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Too much.
And then you see it in the NBA. The Rockets 3-point shooting and
oh yeah,
you know,
shooting from the field or shooting from this amount, this far.
No. I'm like, can we get back to old school post up basketball? We actually had to fight.
I can't do all that. Too much.
No, but can we get back to like old school sports where it was like, yo, mano a mano, man on man, I'm gonna try and beat you. You gotta stop me.
Right.
Can we get back to that? Where you had to have some mental savvy to be in order to play sports. Sports has now become. You saw it with Blake Snell in the World Series, as we touched on a couple shows ago. If this was 20 years ago, Blake Snell's probably going all 9 innings. Blake Snell's pitching the whole game. There's no way Kevin Cash is going to Blake Snell going, hey, buddy, I got the advanced numbers say we got to pull you. We got to get this guy in here. Man.
No way.
Jeez, man. And then nobody's stealing bases. Nobody's doing any of this. It's like, so what? Playing baseball, how it's been played for hundreds of years.
Yeah, it's going to change now.
This sucks. And you know I love the game. But you're going to see this analytical movement everywhere. Hockey. You're seeing it in
already, yep.
Basketball. You're seeing it in football. You definitely. Yeah, football's going to start with the next gen stats.
Donnie gets fired up about that.
a kicker can't kick from this range because the win probability at his back is this. I'm like, are you kidding me? What is this garbage? By the way, I promise we're moving on after this because I want to get to some other things too. Carlos Correa, Corey Seager, Francisco Lindor, and I believe there's another shortstop, if I'm not mistaken. There are all three shortstops I just mentioned are free agents next year. All three of them.
Wow.
Can you imagine the feeding frenzy that is going to ensue for all three of those shortstops next free agency? Wow. I can't fathom it. I can't fathom it. And you know what? Frankie could be a Met. Listen, and I don't think the Yankees are completely showed with Gleyber at shortstop. So could I see one of those two guys being Yankees? Do I think Corey Seager stays in Los Angeles? Yes, I do. But could I see a situation where the Yankees kick the tires on Carlos Correa and go, "Hey, buddy, you want to come to New York? We got the money for you." I mean, would I do it personally because of everything that happened? Probably not. But can I?
How Yankees react to that? That'd be.
But listen, we talk all this crap about all these guys, but the moment they put on pinstripes, we forget about their sins and we love them. We love them.
Yeah, but you don't get attached just yet. You're very,
Nah, you can't. Well, I can.
Yeah, I can.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I want Joe back. That's funny.
That's his boy.
Speaking of the NHL, I have to ask you this.
Okay.
Because there's been a lot of, speculation about what are we doing with the bubbles? Are we getting bubbles in here? What are we doing? Look, the NHL is being as thorough as it could possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to play 71 to 72 games.
Okay.
So with that being said, like I hear people around the league, the NHL's moving too slow. Gary and his boys should have been preparing for this months ago. Can we just give this time to play out before we attack? Can we give it time? Like, what are we doing here? Like, come on now.
No, absolutely. And I was going to get more into this in the Knicks corner, so I could, talk about it now if you want me to wait.
I'm sorry, I stole your thunder, but I was just curious about your response to all this.
No, it's all right. Listen, you got to give them time. You saw what happened months ago, and people saying the same thing. But you know what? It worked. They had no positive tests throughout the bubble. It worked in Toronto and Edmonton. The games were – most fans really didn't even realize that there were no fans. They were that competitive, intriguing matchups. You had some crazy thrillers. The players played as if there were 20,000, 17,000 fans in front of them, as if this really counted. And just the bubble in general idea works. Now, they still, and I'll get more into it in a little bit, but they do want to somehow get fans in buildings at some point in each NHL building.
So does the NBA. The NBA talked about today when the schedule restarts up, we want to get 20 to 25% fans back in these arenas.
So that could be intriguing. They definitely, because they're indoors, will have to keep masks on at all times and stuff like that. So, but maybe it could work. They take the right measurements. Again, I still don't agree with it. I'd still wait it out. But I understand these buildings, these teams, these leagues need money. So
exactly.
They got to try and get some fans in. So that part I get.
Mm-hmm.
They got to start slowly but surely bringing small percentages into the buildings.
Right. And look, there's nothing wrong with that if you do it safely. If you do it safely, I'm all
Right.
for getting
A
the
lot of
entertainment value back.
stations around and you
Right.
and they
Right. You got to do the social deets. You can't be
and I'll get
irresponsible.
into it in Nick's corner, but I mean this Canadian division really they want to do it. They want to make that one division and then have 3 other divisions, which I don't know what that would look like, but that'd be kind of great.
But can you imagine the hockey?
Oh,
Just the quality of play. I'm like,
just for rivalry purposes, I'm all good with it.
Yep. Speaking of rivalry purposes,
what's up,
outdoor hockey? Trevor, what's going on, buddy?
What's
outdoor
up?
Hockey game that you should be considered. You know what? We agree, Trev. We agree, buddy. Outdoor hockey is awesome. By the way, man, welcome to the show. Tell us your sports teams. Tell us who you like. Tell us all that, man. Welcome to the family. Appreciate
Trevor, I know Trevor. Trevor is like me, although except in soccer, though we root for totally opposite teams. But he's a Jet, Brooklyn Net, Islander fan.
Mm-hmm.
Also, his second team actually in hockey, Trevor, is the Hurricanes, who actually was supposed to have an outdoor game this year in Raleigh. Not too far from where your Duke Blue Devils play. So that would have been cool to see in North Carolina there. And he's a personal fan in soccer, which we can't discuss that. But
hey, man, Trevor, welcome aboard. If you're different from him, then you're good with me.
Nah, Trevor's good with me. He's a Jet Met Islander fan. That's all that matters. So
welcome aboard, buddy. Happy to have you.
Yes, absolutely.
No, but that would be really cool.
It would, and I know they really discussed. Cool. See, and that's what I was thinking because they did, and I understand and they make a lot of money off of having sold out buildings.
Up to the Gunners. Thanks. Hello, thanks for having me. Thank you for hopping on, man.
Anytime. Always
listen, man. Listen, man, depending on, I mean, if you keep showing up and you share the show and you show a little, I mean, we might have you on as a guest.
We'll have Trevor on the show.
Definitely. Would love to do that. So
very knowledgeable sports guy.
There you go. See, we like that.
Let's Go Islanders. And
Dougie with the Let's Go Islanders. There you go, Dougie.
They made a big signing yesterday. So, but yeah, I was thinking, I mean, because the NFL's doing it, a small percentage of fans in buildings. I mean, could they have done like 25% fans at a Winter Classic or a Stadium Series? Maybe. But I do understand they want the whole atmosphere. They want the full experience. And also, too, safety. So I'm sure that's really the main thing, of course. I don't really think they were thinking money.
No. But, I mean, every league is thinking money.
No,
let's not be naive.
But you know what I mean? Like, just because I've been to one of these outdoor games, and it is just a full stadium, like, and the whole ambiance, like, it's
a great experience. It's a great experience, no doubt. There's no doubt about it. The experience is awesome. But I do think that if you can't get a full return on your investment, it's going to be very hard to justify saying, hey, let's do an outdoor game right now. Let's do the Winter Classic thing right now. I think that's a very hard pitch to sell, especially when you don't have the full.
Classic was going to be a Target Field in Minnesota, which would have been awesome.
That would have been. Oh, my Lord. Damn you, Corona. Damn you.
And that's been a stadium fans have been wanting to see a game, a Winter Classic, take place at for years now. Because they did it at the University of Michigan. They did in Michigan too, but Minnesota Stadium. Now that would have been cool at Target Field. I know it's a nice ballpark from what
would have been. That would have been. I would have been.
And the
all in on that.
Hurricanes would have been hosting it at NC State's football stadium. Forgive me, I'm not sure what the name of it is, but they would have been playing at NC State's home field. So that would have been cool.
Let me look that up for you real quick. NC State football.
I'd like to know the name. But yeah, I mean, and there's so many other stadiums. Like, I mean, imagine now a lot of the big college stadiums they've used so far, the Big House, they've used Notre Dame. Ohio State Stadium would be awesome. Thank you, Trevor.
Carter Finn, you know what? Listen, we need you on one of these shows one of these days.
Trevor went to NC State. Now that I remember, so that's.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Is it? Oh, so you? Correct me if I'm wrong, but he is a Gamecock, correct? Is that correct? Or am I off?
Carolina.
So that's South Carolina. What is NC State? What is their I'm an idiot when it comes to these things sometimes. Bear with me, buddy.
No, I'm surprised because you're a huge college sports fan, so I'm surprised.
I love it, but I usually listen. I just watch the good college football. I don't watch everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, Wolfpack. Oh, I should know that from my NWO days of liking wrestling when it was actually good, unlike now. God, wrestling sucks now. Oh, good Lord, man. I don't mean to sidebar, but the epitome of a throat.
A little bit.
No, but speaking of football, all right, because we just segued college football, all this stuff. First of all, no Trevor Lawrence on Saturday.
Yeah, that's a big loss against Notre Dame, right?
I think Notre Dame wins.
Yeah, with no Trevor Lawrence, Clemson's not winning. I can't see it.
I mean, if anybody could figure out a way, it's Dabo Swinney. So I'm not gonna say I can't see it, but I do think that it becomes much, much harder, especially when you don't have
football. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it just becomes harder because you don't have your quarterback running the ship and leading your team. So
right,
I could see Notre Dame pulling out a close game. Sure, why not?
Yeah, but tonight's game is going to be atrocious, I think. But then again, we say that, and
I mean, we say that, and watch this game be a barn burner.
But I just think no George Kittle, no Jimmy G,
right,
or Peter Rosenberg and Michael K. calling gorgeous
Jimmy.
Gorgeous Jimmy. Oh, too funny. But yeah,
I'm not comfortable calling another man gorgeous. I don't know.
Well, that's what they call. That's what they call him.
I mean, that's a little much for me. I mean, for me, it's a bit much. But I will say, speaking.
And also, too, Green Bay is going to want revenge on the NFC Championship getting annihilated last year. And they're playing tonight, I believe. They're in Santa Clara. So
they're in Santa Clara, but we got to remember something, though. 71% of the roster is out. Now, the running back, Jones, for the Packers is a go. He's going to try and go. Big injuries all over the board in football this year.
Yes.
Jimmy G, George Kittle, Odell Beckham, Jamal Adams, Joey Bosa, just injury after injury after injury. I'm like, well, damn. Like, can we get through a week when people are healthy, please? I mean, goddamn.
Antonio Brown starting for Tampa this week.
We're going to get more into that. If you got any info on Nick's Corner, we'll definitely talk about that. But we're definitely going to get into that on Sunday show. Sunday at 11 a.m. Make sure you tuned in.
My birthday Sunday, actually.
Oh! Hi-oh! Sunday at 11 a.m. might have to be amended because it's Big Dog's birthday. So
I mean, we can still do the show. It's not,
Depending depending on what the boy wants to do, we might have to, move some things around. But
And I'm
happy
gonna
birthday,
at least the first
happy.
half of that game. Thank you. My roller hockey league, just the schedule came out today for Sunday, 8 p.m. My game is my playoff game. So,
Well, damn.
if we win that, we go to the championship after that. So I don't know how much of that game I'm gonna be able to watch. Hopefully, I can catch the tail end of it, but we'll see.
You'll probably text me late. What's the score?
Yeah. But yeah, we'll get in more into football Sunday, Saturday,
Right.
whatever we're gonna do.
Whatever we do, win that chat. just be on the lookout for updates.
Well,
A lot of COVID positives. The Chiefs shut down their practice facility today.
the
Texans. The Browns shut theirs down last week because somebody had it.
and we knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah, but it's happening at an alarming rate now, and it feels very, very, very serious to me.
Yes.
I know, but people are recovering. How big of a deal is it? Yeah, you're partially right, but it just, I don't know. It's just hard, man. And then you see all the injuries that are happening on a week in, week out basis, and you're like, maybe that has something to do with it. Not being on the field, as practicing as much, not being in pads as much, not taking the physical contact as much. I think that can play a role in things for sure. I don't know. Football is in a very interesting conundrum, and then the colder it gets, and then you get into the playoff months, and then it's going to be very interesting to see how they do this.
It is very.
We'll save the Jet stuff for next corner. The Broncos general manager, John Elway, the president, John Elway, and the general manager both have tested positive for COVID in the last 72 hours, and they both have home isolating. So thoughts and prayers with them. This thing is very, very, it's still running rampant.
Jets could have drafted, but, they went that. Him, Jim Kelly, and Dan Marino in one draft.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Nick's Corner. This is the fun part of the show. This guy breaks down all the soccer news, all the happenings in the NHL, all that. But I'm going to tee him up here for a bit because selfishly, I want to rant. I want to see the neck vein in his face.
I knew you were going there first. Come on.
So we're going to start with this. And if you're a Jet fan, call other Jet fans. Tell them what we're about to witness is monumental. So I have to ask, after listening to your esteemed general manager, Joe Douglas, on the K Show the other day.
Esteemed. Let's pump the brakes. Stop.
Esteemed general manager, Joe Douglas, talk on the K Show the other day. Your response to your general manager saying what he said is what?
Not surprised. How on earth is there no accountability from Adam freaking Gase is beyond me. And Don LaGreca said it too. Douglas sounded like the GM version of Sam Darnold. Because if you're a Jet fan who watches or listens to Sam Darnold's interview every Monday, what does he say? I got to play better. We got to play better. I got to execute. We got to execute. It's all on me. Douglas, I had to draft better. I shouldn't have got rid of Robbie Anderson. What else? I thought we'd be better. I'm really shocked. It's on my shoulders. But Adam Gase, no, it's not my fault. It's on the defense. Or the defense. Oh, it's Adam Gase's fault in the offense. There's no accountability. I understand you're not, because Adam Gase got you the job and he's your best friend and, You're not going to throw him under the bus. It's all media speak. But come on, man. If you're Adam Gase, you got to blame yourself. For God's sake. And I mean, I gave them credit. The guys, they were asking him legitimate questions, but of course he wasn't going to answer. Questions like, why is there no accountability? What do you see in Adam Gase? What's the future of Sam Darnold? Well, first of all, the idiotic things he said, meaning Douglas, was one, Adam Gase, we're going to figure it out with him. We hope to figure it out. All right, that means he's staying. At least I think so. Sam Darnold, he's the quarterback of the future for the New York Jets. But the one thing, I think this guy is clueless. I think he's clueless, so just because he's the Jet general manager now, all of a sudden he can't general manage. I don't know. Like, how on God's green earth can this Adam Gase just never blame himself for anything or say, you know what, it's on me. Nah, let's not do that. Or just I know I'm all over the place, but like that interview got me like, if I flipped out, because I'm like, how can this guy be saying all this stuff?
Let me tee this up. So you're not helter-skelter all over the joint, as we like to say on this show. Let me tee up some questions for you.
Great Beatles song, by the way, helter-skelter.
And let's get through this. All right. My first impression of the interview, and I want to ask you this. I don't know if it was football speak. I think he genuinely believes that this is the way it's going to be for the next few seasons. Because not only did he say, correct me if I'm wrong, which leads to the question, not only did he say that Sam Darnold is the quarterback of this football team, but he used the words, the future quarterback of this organization. Yeah. He did use those words. Now, could it be football speak? It could. And we believe in Adam Gase. We believe he's going to turn this around. We just got to give him time to coach and to build a culture. Big Dog, okay, so my understanding isn't that what they've been doing for the last 2 seasons?
Yes.
Trying to build a quote-unquote culture? Isn't that what we've been doing?
Yeah, but how's that going? Jets haven't had a great culture really since the championship games of 2009 and 2010. And then even that eventually fell apart. So what culture? And if you really expect that you're going to have Gase and Darnold together, good luck. If I'm Sam Darnold, I'm talking to my agent already, like, get me out of here. Because there's no way, if you're Sam Darnold, you want to get out of here. You can't be with Adam Gase because you're never going to amount to anything. I'm sorry. He's got talent, I believe. He can be a great quarterback, but you ain't developing he's only regressing every week and getting hurt every week. So he hasn't been healthy one season with the Jets.
Speaking of comments.
What's up, AJ?
Jets are always going to jet. Hey, buddy.
They're never going to be good.
What's going on? All right.
Until they get new ownership. That's really it. And competent football people and a competent general manager and a competent head coach.
Okay. The one thing that I took away from the statement was, and guys, share the video, like the video, let the people know we're live. Let them know Big Do's going off on the Jets. He got a lot more of this for you. But one of the things that I found fascinating about this interview is that Joe Douglas said, we see Sam getting better every week. We see him progressing every week. His practices are remarkable.
I don't know what he's on, but
his practices are remarkable. We see him showing progression. Those are the quotes he used. So I will say this: Gase has to go. Donald will be a star on another team.
Absolutely.
I think that's the universal thought.
Right.
But Big Dog, when you hear things like, well, Sam's progressing every week, We see Sam growing as a football player. We see all these different things happening. Yes, I understand most of it is football speak, but I mean, good Lord. Good Lord. How can you, as a competent executive of an NFL team, say
Since
something as asinine as that?
Since I've watched Sam Darnold, I've not seen him really progress that much. He had an okay or a good, if you want to be nice, 2018. They went 7-9 last year, but let's be for real. That 6-2 was garbage.
Like we said on multiple occasions. Mm-hmm.
So, and this year, 0-7, going to be 0-8 because you ain't beat.
You traded Jamal Adams for a third and a conditional fourth round pick. Is it fourth or fifth?
I don't recall off the top of my head, but
anyway, you traded Jamal Adams for minimal value. You released Le'Veon Bell, who you gave a crap load of money to. You just cut him.
And you just got rid of Avery Williamson to Pittsburgh. For nothing. So
for minimal value, okay? So let me see where you're doing your job as a competent executive. You got rid of Jamal Adams for nothing. You got rid of Avery Williamson for nothing. You released Le'Veon Bell for nothing. For nothing. Where do you see a competent general manager? What competent general manager does this?
Big name or star rather than a great team.
Listen, Douglas, I'll give you if he had the ability to make decisions. Because I still think Adam Gase is the head decision maker on this football team.
He is the boss of everybody, even the owner.
He can say, listen, we're giving Joe time to do his thing. We're giving Joe time to develop. We're giving Joe time to do all this. That's a fair point.
And it's and you have to give Joe Douglas time because you signed him to a massive deal. So it's not like you could just get rid of him.
That's a fair point. But we're giving Joe Douglas time to do what?
No,
Adam Gase's.
I don't know if, and I know it hasn't been that long, but I don't think he's the GM for this team. I'm sorry. I know it's not that long, but
I'll take it a step further, though. He's not going to be allowed to be the GM of this team because until Adam Gase is fired, Adam Gase runs everything in that organization. So you can say, oh, yeah, we got to give Joe Douglas more time. Under feasible circumstances, you're right. But we're giving Joe Douglas time to get Adam Gase more coffee? Is that what we're doing? We're giving Joe Douglas time to pick out the interior for his house that he's going to be living in because he's not doing GM stuff. Because I believe this is Adam Gase pulling the trigger on these trades, and Joe Douglas, unfortunately, has to be the guy that comes on the show like Sam Darnold and talks about the moves that are being made with this roster when everybody knows Joe Douglas is just the figurehead.
Joe Douglas deep down has to know in his heart that Gase cannot be an NFL coach. There's no way. And Mike Tannenbaum, and again, he hired Gase. He worked with Gase in Miami. They had that 10-6 year with Big Whoop. Tannehill was not that good as a QB in Miami. You see what he's doing now since he's Gaseless. He's playing amazing in Tennessee.
AG. We call that the AG effect after Gase.
Right. And Gase cannot lead this Jet team, but he will because, again, to quote the great Joe Benigno, who unfortunately his last show on WFAN is tomorrow. Very sad. But he won the power struggle. He won the power struggle over Maccagnan, and then that pretty much set, like Douglas goes to Gase is like the GM and owner. Gase runs the entire Jet operation, which how on earth he pulled that off, I don't know. Because he's not,
Right.
it's not like he's Bill Belichick, he's Bill Parcells, he's Vince Lombardi. None of those guys. So
Right.
it's beyond aggravating. And this Jet team, I really see no future, at least in the near future.
Here's the thing that I want to get into here about this. Here's the thing that I want to peel back the onion on, and then we're moving on, I swear. When you talk about the ability to run an organization, you talk about everyone having an equal say. And it doesn't feel to me as though that is happening. It doesn't feel that everybody has an equal say. It doesn't feel like everybody is given a chance to voice their opinions because Adam Gase feels like the grand poobah holding court going, if you don't like it, well, tough. I'll just cut you. I'll release you because I don't like you.
Right.
If you're ownership and you know what losing does. Losing pushes the fans away. Losing doesn't make the fans want to come back. If it's all a matter of you saving face, this is the time where you turn around and you go, "Hey man, we got to pull the nose up or fans might just walk away from us and they may not come back." I know Jet fans are loyal, but how much can loyalty be taken for granted by selfishness? Because it seems very selfish that you're gonna say,
Fans
"Oh, well,
have to
we don't
push
know."
away for a while. What have I been saying for months now? The fans have to do something. I'm not saying give up fandom, but you gotta go away for a while and not. You can't give this team attention. You can't watch their games. Don't buy their stuff.
Right.
Don't go to games if fans are allowed next year. You can't. How can anyone do that? Sit there week to week and watch this team? How?
Right.
How?
Right.
Or buy their stuff?
That's crazy. That's crazy that he said that because I said the same thing a couple shows ago. But then again, if Woody comes back, how much of a difference does that make? Because Adam Gase seems like he's the puppet master, and the GM and the owner are the puppeteers. That's crazy to use a Metallica.
Woody can fire him, but still, Woody is very incompetent also. So I don't know.
Here's the thing. So Woody fires him, right? Woody fires him, okay? And you're going to, first of all, Woody probably won't even have the guts to fire him. Woody probably forced the GM to fire the guy that got him the job.
Which I don't know if Joe want to do that.
That's the thing. The thing is, it doesn't feel as though
this team.
It doesn't feel as though one hand knows what the other hand is doing. And that's sad to say, but it's kind of true. It's almost like, well, let's throw this at the wall and see if it sticks. And if it sticks, then we got something. You can say that ordinarily, but bro, this has been 50 years of perpetual just being beaten down like a dog.
Yep.
How much can the fan base take? It's almost like, okay, we can talk about how much it means. We can talk about all these different scenarios of what we would do. And then when I look at Trevor Lawrence, I don't blame Trevor Lawrence for saying, I don't know if I want to come out.
If I'm him, I don't know if Jets. No way.
If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if I want to come out, if I want to be a part of what they're doing. You understand? It's a very unfortunate time because this guy Trevor Lawrence is a star. He's a star. The guy is made. He's gonna do major work. So I just feel as though you're screwed either way, and it sucks to say it because Jet fans like you are looking for hope. But how can we look for hope?
It's not.
How can we look for hope when the organization continually makes the same mistake year after year after year after year, and it's getting worse because now it doesn't feel like they don't even care. They don't care. That's the
And they're
unfathomable
still making
part.
money. They're one of the top 10 franchises that make money in the NFL, which is remarkable.
Right.
But it's the market
Right.
they're in. That's why. And the fan base, as much as the Giants and the Yankees are the established team, Jets and Mets have a big, not big, massive fan base in New York at the Tri-State.
Right.
So they're always going to make money, a lot of it. And fans somehow, I don't know, are still season ticket holders too, which boggles my mind.
And you know, I love the whole loyalty aspect. Oh, you have to be loyal.
And I'm big on that. I'm a diehard fan, but
you have to be loyal. You can't leave. You gotta show solidarity. You gotta come together. Like you gotta. They're so big on that. Yes, that's fair.
Right.
But when are they being loyal to you?
Exactly.
When in the last 50 years, Jet fans, if there are any Jet fans left on the stream, hi to the 4 people watching. When have they been loyal to you? When?
Right. At least the Islanders fans, at least John Ledecky and Scott Malkin care about the fans. They're turning this team into the right direction. Finally, are getting us an arena. They talk to the Islander fans. They reach out. Like, what do you think? What's your ideas? What would you like to see? Same thing with Cohen now. He put out on Twitter, hey, Mets fans. Same thing.
First of all, Steve Cohen jumping in the fishbowl that is known as Twitter, you deserve points for jumping in that fishbowl. Wow.
The Johnsons don't care because they're making money off of the fans. They're making money because of the company they own, Johnson & Johnson. Let's go Jets. Yeah, let's go Jets. But I don't know, Skip.
I mean, but how much of that, like, when do you as a Jet fan become physically sick and say, you know what?
I haven't worn Jet stuff in months, which is
Dude, I'm glad.
And you know me for a few years now. When have I not worn Jet stuff? I always do, even when they stink. But
especially during this time of year.
I can't. Even in my own house, like just hanging around the house, I don't wear Jet stuff. I can't.
Oh.
I just can't even put it on. Like I can't. I refuse.
Folks, we could go on about this for hours. If you have thoughts, chime in. Tell us what you think. Are we off base? Are we crazy? Talk to us.
John, what do you think? Trevor, what do you think? Well, I know, Trevor, you've been commenting, but keep commenting. John, how do you feel?
AJ, what do you think? Tell your brother we're live. James, where you at?
Yeah, I haven't seen James in quite a few shows.
James, where you at? What's his name?
Dougie. Hopefully he's still watching.
Dougie, where you at? It is sad, and you have sympathy from non-New York viewers.
This fan base has been starving for a championship for 52 years already. And I mean,
yo, when the Knicks finally win one, when the Knicks and Jets finally win championships, I think me and you are gonna cry. Like human beings, grown men are gonna cry. It's gonna be almost as if, you know, it's almost as if we had an epiphany. This is how it's going to feel for Jet and Knick fans to win a championship. Whenever that time
comes. Jet fans should own the team because Woody and Chris don't care.
And they never did.
Even get you involved. You're not a Jet fan. We would get you in. Well, we want you as the GM. That'll be me, John. Other Jet fans own the team. You'll be the GM.
Listen, as I always say, secure the bag and I'm there. Get that bag right.
Give us your price and Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, I'd really love in the NFL to take over Louis Riddick. Oh my God. But
All right, how about this head coach combination? I understand 100%, but I can't even wear it out to take out the trash. No, no, and I don't blame him. He might put it in
No,
the
I
trash
can't.
one of these days.
I can't. I haven't even done that. Even in my own house, like on a rainy day, you're chilling in your house all day. I don't even put that on. I don't even put a Jets hoodie on or a shirt on.
This is great. How about this for a combination? How about Louis Riddick and Jim Harbaugh?
That'd be amazing.
General manager, head coach combination. How about that? Try that on for size, will you? And then it comes out today that, I don't mean to make this a Nick point, but Leon Rose is looking at all the optimism. He feels optimistic about where the Knicks are headed. Tell me where I've heard that before in the last 25 plus years of being a Knicks fan.
It's the same garbage with the Knicks and the Jets. Garbage.
Tell me where we've heard this whole optimism. Where in me and your lifetimes combined have we seen optimism? Can we talk about this?
Like, we've seen bright spots, but
who answers to who? Coach answers to GM and owner.
I think
usually the coach and the general manager in lockstep and work together, and then they go to the owner and go, "Hey, this is what we're thinking."
But in the Jet land, everyone answers to Gase. Gase is he's the head honcho in Florham Park.
Listen, why don't you just put him? Why don't you sit him at the edge of the table?
They're all in the sewer.
That's where they belong. I'm sorry. Why don't you just put them all at the edge of the table? Put Gase at the end of the table, and be like, "Hey, Grand Poobah, how do you want to fix?"
But Gase don't even care. He's making his money. He's got it good. So what if he's making money? He gets to coach in the NFL. Not that he can, but
here's the other thing too. He was quoted as saying a couple years ago, "Oh well, I have money anyway, so it doesn't really matter." Really?
He don't care about the fans. That's another thing. The thing he said about the fans. I don't care what they say about me. I'm still making money.
That's the thing. That is the thing that is most frightening in all this. When you see Adam Gase make a comment and say, "Well, it really doesn't matter because I'm making money anyway." What are they going to do? They're going to fire me? I'm going to get paid. They can't stop me from making money. Well, then if that's how you really feel, then what are we doing here wasting the time then? And then you look at what's going on in Miami. You look at how
Flores, Miami, they're building something in Miami.
How Flores has turned that football team into not only watchable, but like semi-scary.
Maybe could compete for the division. Who knows?
Semi-scary.
Them versus Buffalo is going to be must-watch.
And you look at it and you're going, "Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God."
And you look at where all the players from that Miami team are now. Jay Ajayi won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. Tannehill went to the championship game last year. Come on, the evidence is right in front of you. And all because Peyton Manning called you. You got to hire Adam Gase? Are you kidding? I know Peyton Manning is who Peyton Manning is, but Gase was his coffee boy in Denver. Gase was calling no plays.
And I don't mean to like cash in your Spurs on Peyton Manning, but when's the last time like Peyton Manning got 7 Super Bowls? Peyton Manning was a mediocre playoff quarterback. Come on now. Let's be real about it now. He wasn't a great quarterback. I give his brother crap, but there's no way that I'm not trusting
Peyton Manning was great. Not
in the playoffs, because you even say you're the big proponent of, "Oh well, it matters what you do in the playoffs." Oh yeah, I got Green Bay. Green Bay.
Oh, Green Bay.
Green Bay. Yeah. I don't know what the
Landslide.
final. I wouldn't go far as a landslide because
And
I think
anyone who
football.
thinks the Jets are winning Monday night, I don't know what you. I don't know. Even throw out the idea that they're going to beat New England. Are you serious?
Have you seen the New England Patriots play football over the last 3 weeks?
But even that, come on, you really think Belichick's going to let the Jets win? Come on.
I'm just saying, have you seen the New England Patriots play football over the last 3 weeks?
I have. Not that good, although they almost won Sunday, but still. You think the Jets are going to win Monday?
No, but I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Nah, you can't in this case. You can't do it.
I mean, damn. I mean, if there was a week to get a win, it might be Monday night because
Jets are going 0-16. Book it now because they're going 0-16.
Jets can't beat a high school team, right? That's funny. That's funny. That's hysterical. That's hysterical.
They couldn't.
We had the Bills on the ropes. We couldn't take advantage of New England. Yeah. You know, and sad,
Trevor, I can't see them winning a game.
No, in a realistic world, probably not. There's no way they win that.
They might keep it close, but I just know Bill Belichick and can't on a Monday night, which the Jets never beat New England in prime time.
First of all, can we ask a question? Why?
Wow!
Without Trevor Lawrence, you're going
special by Dougie.
Really? Wow. But in all seriousness, why are the Jets and Giants? Why are they in primetime games?
I know.
Why are the Giants and Jets on Monday Night Football? Why are they on Thursday Night Football? Listen, put them on the 1 o'clock slots of nowhere, and let's finish this garbage. Let's finish this garbage.
Although Giant fans have a lot more to look forward to. A lot more.
Not really, because I don't think they're going to keep Daniel Jones. Because if you ask me, I think they take Justin Fields.
It's possible. Although I think people are too quick to judge him, but that's another conversation.
No, but all right. Don't get me wrong. After we go on here's my reasoning, and I'm going to continue to say this. And people are like, oh, that doesn't matter. It matters to these guys because we've seen it happen time and time and time again. Joe Judge didn't draft Daniel Jones. He inherited him. Jones is and that's how most Giant fans feel. Most Giant fans feel like we understand how talented he is, but we don't want to sit here and go through this painstaking reminder of Eli in his first 4 years where he would make a great play, he would make a spectacular play, and then you turn around and he'll dumb out and throw 2 picks on back-to-back drives, and you're just like, man, what are you looking at, dog? Where are we going here? Jets can maybe beat the – oh, well, yeah, you know. I agree with you. I'd wait. If it's me, I'd wait. I just don't believe Giant fans – Yeah, you heard? They reported it in practice. He turned it over. I mean, and you know, in this town, we don't got patience for that kind of foolishness.
No.
That's why I don't think they wait. Does Daniel Jones make you go, well, I mean, this brother got some talent. This brother can play now. There's something here about him
There's no hope for New York football. Let's just say it.
Well, damn. I mean, I'm trying to be hopeful for y'all, but
I mean, you got Rutgers over in New Jersey, but that's about it. Nobody.
Speaking of Rutgers, did anybody see that forward lateral on Saturday?
Greg Schiano's got that team playing.
First of all, whoever's the defensive coordinator for the team they're playing against, you got to be fired. You got to be fired. You allowed 7 backwards laterals and he scores? Yo, fam.
Jet fans, let me ask you out there, if you could bring the Jets back to New York, where would you put them? Their stadium, where would you put? God. The Jets belong back in Flushing or on Long Island.
Are we doing this? All right, we're doing this, I guess.
Jets in Brooklyn would be awesome, but that I don't know if that could happen. I think Long Island fit. You have more room, and most of the Jet fan base is out there, so I think Long Island would be a good spot, and Nassau. Yep.
Long Island, wow.
Yeah, because Jersey is giant country. Like, we don't belong there. We don't. Like, you have a good amount of Jet fans in Jersey, but most of them are Long Island. Staten Island, too, is giant country. Most of the, and Jersey's right there. So, yeah, Queens, Long Island, mostly Jet fans. And name the Giants the New Jersey Giants, then we could be the New York Jets, and leave it be.
We got some more responses here. We got Suffolk County.
Oh man,
and Doug says,
yeah, that's where they should practice again. And Stefan brought this up, and I agree with him. Although I hate the idea, but I mean, I think at some point, I don't think it's going to be there forever. But the Coliseum, maybe build a stadium there. On that location. Toronto. What's up, Rick?
No.
You and the Jets in Toronto. Not that, listen, great city. I love Toronto.
Big.
But I want an NFL team there in Toronto. I think that'd be awesome. Then you have the Bills-Buffalo-Toronto rivalry.
Rick doesn't believe that there should be 2 sports teams in New York in each sport. There should be one, and that's it. Although I don't know how he feels about Cohen with the Mets now. He might want the Mets to stay because. Not.
Oh, yeah, you're a big NASCAR fan. And maybe they got room there, so you never know. But Suffolk for the Jet Stadium, that's too far.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness, though, I know, Rick, you joined at the right time. We're in the middle of Nick's corner. Rick, I know Nick got some other things he wants to get into. But this Jet conversation is so fascinating because there's so many layers to this. Not only are we talking about what...
It's funny because I'm sorry, I just got to... Because we're like, we shouldn't even talk Jets. How can we talk about this team? But then we'll talk about them for like a half hour. But then all these other aspects, and then we go about the history of them, and then... they should play, and it's hysterical.
The funny thing is, I look at this whole thing, and I don't mean to compare it to the Knicks, but it's almost like, well, damn, if the Knicks weren't playing in the Garden, I think about this sometimes. If the Knicks weren't playing in Madison Square Garden,
it would not be that full.
Would they even matter?
Maybe not.
Think about that. Would that matter? If the Knicks weren't at MSG, would it matter if the Knicks were good or bad? I don't think it would matter. And this is coming from somebody who's a Knicks fan. It sucks to say it. It's crazy to say it. But and I know we love basketball in the city, so yeah, maybe. But I think the allure of being a Knicks fan is the fact that you play half your games inside of Madison Square Garden. and there's a loyal group of fans that love the Knicks that will put up with the crap that we put out with.
And you've had those moments. I'm sorry to cut you off. You've had those moments. Yeah.
You know what? I can't argue with you, man. Being a diehard Knicks fan is like being a girl that gets, I think you're gonna get a good date this year. I think you're gonna get a decent date this year. And then you end up with the buck-tooth girl with glasses that don't look good. She can't see. The contacts fell out her face. You're trying to walk her to the table and you realize,
that's not nice.
Why do I do this to myself every year? That's almost what it's like. It's that bad. I mean, damn. Anyway, what other stuff you got on Knicks Corner? Because we could be here for 90 hours.
It's getting too. I can't. Jet talk. I've had enough. It was interesting. I love getting the comments and everything, but after a while, my head's pounding. But Trevor, don't worry. Some soccer's coming up. I hate it, but your Arsenal had.
He's right. He's right.
Tourist, yeah, and Wall Street guys.
He's right.
I'm gonna start.
What, Doug, you're right, Doug. And 300 pounds. You know, ain't nothing wrong with the big girls now. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Let's not. You know, lose the female viewership. Ain't nothing wrong with big girls now. But I'm just saying, you know. Go ahead, big dog.
So hockey first, and I'm gonna get into a couple of soccer stories and scores and this weekend's Premier League schedule and some other stuff. So an article from CBC.ca up in Canada. Shout out to Canada. Okay. Article by Jim Morris. There's some quotes here. Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly told ESPN that the continued closure of the border is a major factor impacting how the league will operate in the upcoming season. One possibility is to create a competition within the league among the Canadian clubs, Daly said, which we talked about earlier, making a Canadian division, which would be amazing. The 7 NHL teams could make up one of 4 NHL divisions. Each division would have a hub city. You come into the bubble for, say, 4 weeks. You play 14 games. Then everybody gets a 2-week break. That's an interesting quote. Another thing, and this was from ESPN, so this was from Monday, this article, so it's a few days old, but as of Friday, so that was October 30th, the NHL hadn't had a negotiating session with the NHLPA's return to play committee of about 10 players, but did have one call with the NHLPA rep on that committee. Bill Daly. Another quote from him: doesn't know enough. So there's not a meaning like there's still a lot of unknowns going on. A Canadian Premier League, so a Canadian NHL division of all 7 of those teams in one hub city, which would be insane. I mean, you'd be getting multiple Maple Leafs Canadiens games, multiple Oilers versus Flames, Senator. Oh my God. That would be sick.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. Listen, you want to get me into the NHL? That may be how you do it right there. If you put some significance to these games where these rivalries and these teams don't like each other, and we get back to them having, wars on the ice.
Yes,
I'm in on that.
If you make the divisions like in terms of rivalries, oh my God.
Right.
Like now, let's say, and here's something interesting now that I thought about it. So you have a Canadian division, so all the teams in Canada, but let's say East Coast, right? Boston's usually in the Leafs division, Senators, Canadians. Now, it stinks that they won't be in the same division as the Habs, or the Canadiens. But Boston, if they're with Philly, the Rangers, Capital, so that would be cool.
And what it does is it allows you to get back to the geographical part of it,
Right?
Where you can literally start to see
Pittsburgh's a good rivalry.
These teams don't like each other, and there's geographical symmetry between the teams. There's proximity between the teams. You'll get the fan bases back into it. And this is what I'm saying. If you're hockey, right, you have to start now to ask yourself,
what are we looking at? Like in terms of rivalry, really? Oh my God.
Keep the Canadians in Canada. And I mean, you can do that, but then it comes down to, if the border's not open to Canada, then how are we having playoffs?
So I know that's the interesting thing, and they haven't really spoken, the NHLPA and the committee. So hopefully they'll talk in the coming days to figure things out. And there is a lot of unknowns. But hopefully, I don't know, maybe the hub cities are going to have to be in the U.S., although now numbers are surging again, which isn't good here. I was hoping maybe they would keep everything in Canada, just because I think that's the only option. I think if you really want to have a successful start to the season, and then maybe later on when the warmer, I don't know, if you want to eventually have the teams in their own arenas, or American hub cities, like maybe where the infection rate is low, like in LA, New York, Philly. But I think that we'll have to see. But no, Stefan, I mean, because we've spoken about this ad nauseum. I think the NHL's that formula worked. Now you're going to be dealing with more teams this time around because,
right,
it's not just the playoffs. Now it's the whole regular season. So there's going to be
right, and I think the interesting part about this is that yes, there. I think the interesting part about this is, because that's where the conundrum is. It's what happens in the playoffs. What do we do in the playoffs, and how do we get it formulated so that, we're back to where you get fair play amongst the teams that are in the playoffs. This is the thing, because you can figure out the regular season. But I don't necessarily know if it's going to work for the playoffs. That's why I think the bubble format in the playoffs could be conceivable for now. And then as it continues to change, as it continues to develop, we might have a conversation in which, we might have to go back into the bubble, depending on how things go for the beginning and the spring of 2021. Because I don't believe that there is going to be necessarily a that big of a shift, but I do believe that we're going to get to a point where we're going to get close to having to make these decisions, and you got to give Gary Bettman and Bill Daly and the staff at NHL at the NHL credit. They're not rushing this thing, and I got to be honest. Usually, I'm a fan of Adam Silver and his decision making in the NBA, but I feel like the NBA is rushing this. So now they're going to have a vote in the coming days to figure out an agreement is expected to be reached by the weekend to start the NBA season on December 22nd. And LeBron came out the other day publicly and was like, "Yo, I'm cherry picking games. I'm not gonna be there more. Some nights I'm not into it." You know what I mean? It feels very, I don't know. It just feels very, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. Doug says good, so the Islanders can keep beating up on the Rangers. Yeah. I mean, listen, listen. None of this is easy. Okay, none of it is easy. None of it. I want. None of it is easy. None of it is. None of it is easy. None of it is um an easy scenario. But it feels to me that the NHL is at least getting back to, okay, we're getting close to a decision with the season, and that's a good thing. And another thing that needs to be factored in is the Olympics too, because if we're playing on the if we're trying to work with coincide with the Olympics, then we got to work on some stuff. John with chimes in with the
Let's go. But yeah,
all right.
Islanders and Rangers always in the same division, so we can keep beating them up, and it's just a great rivalry. Pittsburgh, Philly, I mean, LA, San Jose, like those teams, you got to keep in the same division. You gotta.
Mm-hmm.
So
it makes sense, and you might make the league more money. And if you're making the league more money, then because the league is starving for revenue right now, we know that all these leagues are starving for revenue. But if it's about making the league more money, which it clearly is, then that's the way that you do it. You get the rivalries back into it. You get the fans reinvested in it, and you're allowed to make more money, which means the sport is in a place where now you won't have to worry about, are we losing money? Give the people what they want, and they will.
Rivalries.
The ratings will be better.
The Blackhawks and Blues in the same division, like all those great rivalries we have in the league.
Right. And it makes a major impact. It really does.
Yeah, like just having divisions with all the rivals in it, I think it would be great. I mean, and even without fans, you saw it. I mean, rivalries grew. There are new rivalries now because of playoffs, especially in hockey. That always happens. So, it's fun, man. And rivalries in hockey still matter. Yeah. Isles, Pens, Caps, Rays, Devils, Fly. Oh, my God. Yeah, see that? Because, and I'm sorry, but like the Blue Jackets and Hurricanes are in a division, but they're not really rivals with anybody. I mean, you could say Hurricanes and Caps maybe, because they were in the Southeast Division for a long time. Blue Jackets, Pittsburgh, because of the driving distance and proximity. And they've also had a couple playoff series in recent memory that were memorable. But other than that, those five, I mean, just geographically speaking, I mean, my God. And historically, whether it's playing playoffs and just the cities hate each other, like that division would be nuts if they had those five. Woo! Oh my God!
Nah, but that'll you see that'll create the type of intrigue for a hockey fan that it's like, wow, this feels important. This feels big. This feels like we have to get back to watching. So that could be a major part as to why they should consider this. And
absolutely.
Honestly, I think if you want to get the ratings back up, if you want to make sure that the money is at a point where the league feels like it could recoup some of it, that's how you do it. Isn't there going to be a Seattle team stuff? They might push that back a year due to the pandemic results. So they're not saying for sure that
LA. Oh my God, that division is going to be nuts.
But in terms of the Seattle teams, they may push that back a year. They're not saying yes or no due to the pandemic. So they're coming in the NHL. They just don't know how big of an impact that's going to have, especially during like if we're still kind of in these restricted times, if you will, with like fans and stuff like that. So, Big Dog, what else you got, man?
A little bit of soccer news. Give me one sec. Okay. So, couple of stories. I'll start off with first. Thank God he's okay. He made it through. But Argentinian soccer legend Diego Maradona had brain surgery, but it was successful, and he's in recovery.
Wow.
His doctor reports. Argentina football legend Diego Maradona underwent successful brain surgery for subdural hematoma.
Yeah,
Tuesday after he was admitted to a hospital a day earlier.
Wow.
So, thank goodness he's okay. And they showed a clip of outside the hospital in right near Buenos Aires, which is the capital of Argentina. Fans going nuts, like singing, chanting outside the hospital, waving scarves and Maradona jerseys. Crazy. So like
that is awesome. Wow, that is awesome.
He's like a god in Argentina. Much like Pele is in Brazil.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it. Good stuff.
Shifting to England now, where Pulisic unfortunately picks up an injury in warm-up. Now, this was from a few days ago during the game over the weekend. He missed the Burnley match, which Chelsea won 3-0. He was set to start, but the club announced he had to withdraw 10 minutes before kickoff, with Timo Werner, the German, taking his spot at the forward position. Manager Frank Lampard said, quote, "It's a small sensation in his hamstring, so we had to pull him," end quote. Yeah. So I think he'll be okay. It seems like
they're being smart. He's a young kid. You don't want nothing major to happen to him. Pull him. If you got a little tweak or a twinge, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Let me, before we sign off, because I got to do the schedule, I think people seem to enjoy that segment.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read every score, but just the big ones from this past week. I'll start with the Champions League.
Real quick, Doug, to answer your question, 2022 seems more realistic right now, but we have to see what it looks like again once we get through everything that we're currently dealing with.
Bayern München 6, FC Salzburg 2. Absolute blowout there. Real Madrid 3, Inter Milan 2. That was one of the more high-profile games of the week. FC Porto 3-0 over Marseille. Manchester City 3, Olympiacos 0. Liverpool beating up Atalanta 5-0. So Liverpool with the win there. Istanbul, shocking win over Man U 2-1. Barcelona 2-1 win over Dynamo Kiev, Ukrainian club. So those are the big matches.
Catch the flavor that he's saying these names with.
One more.
With some
RB
flavor.
Leipzig 2, PSG 1, or Paris Saint-Germain, if you want me to do the full name.
There you go. He gave you the full swing.
Today, in the Europa League, Tottenham, big win today for my boys, 3-1 over Ludogorets. Benfica and Rangers, 3-3 draw. Arsenal with a 4-1 win. Celtic losing 4-1 to Sparta. There's a lot more, but I'm not going to read the entire list because that's too long. And I just want to go over quickly, and then we'll wrap up this weekend's Premier League matches, and then some international friendlies next week, along with there's some UEFA Nations League games. So next week's an international break, so no league games next week. Here we go. Are you ready? Friday, which is tomorrow. Brighton versus Burnley, Southampton versus Newcastle. Then Saturday, November 7th, big one here, 7:30 a.m. if you want to wake up early. Everton versus Manchester United. Crystal Palace versus Leeds. By the way, side note, watched a really great documentary called Promoted on NBCSN about Leeds and their history and how they got back to the Premier League. Check it out. Right. Very interesting. Chelsea versus Sheffield United. So hopefully Christian Pulisic comes back into the lineup and plays. West Ham versus Fulham. A little bit of London derby there. Sunday, my birthday, November 8th. West Brom versus Tottenham. Come on, Tottenham. Leicester versus Wolves, Manchester City versus Liverpool, which is a
great.
I mean, 11:30 a.m., so not too early, but you know. Arsenal, Trevor, your Gunners, Arsenal versus Aston Villa, and then they have a break until Saturday, November 21st. You know, when I'm reading the Premier League, I got to read in the authentic English. I can't just read West Brom, Tottenham. I got to do the accent. Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, Chelsea, West Ham, Everton, Liverpool, Fulham, and some international friendlies. So next Wednesday on November 11th, actually some really good matchups. Greece versus Cyprus, Albania versus Kosovo, Turkey versus Croatia, Denmark versus Sweden, so a Scandinavian matchup there, Belgium versus Switzerland, Germany versus the Czech Republic, Italy versus Estonia, this one, Netherlands versus Spain, Poland versus Ukraine. Then on November 12th, the U.S. men's national team is back in action for the first time since the pandemic. And it'll be interesting to see like all the young guys now in the lineup. Wes McKennie, Gio Reyna, Pulisic. So we are playing Wales in Wales. We'll see how the United States plays in that one. And then England versus the Republic of Ireland. See, now some of these accents, though, I can't do, but some of them I could. Hold on. See, now I read them all, so now I should have did it with the accents before, but at least I did the Premier League right. I did with the accent. At least I did that. The last matchup, England versus the Republic of Ireland. So that one I did in the Irish accent and in the English accent. So I got that.
You gotta sign off with some English.
I think every Thursday, right, for the rest of the show. I mean, we're signing off now pretty much, but I gotta do the English accent for the rest of the show. It's only right. It's only right.
I'm done.
You're done. What do you mean you're done? That's it? No comments, no nothing?
All those games sound interesting. I just keep seeing Elton John in my head.
Elton, baby, one of my favorites. Elton John. The man himself. One of the greatest of all bloody time, the Rocket Man. Shouts out.
That's great. Anyway, guys, we'll see you guys on Sunday. That was epic. Big Dog, thanks again. And we'll see you Saturday. Saturday at 2 p.m.
Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting, one of my favorite Elton songs, you know.
Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. I know we ran a little long today. We appreciate your viewership and your patience with our craziness. And we'll be back on Saturday. All right, guys? So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy as much as you can enjoy this football game, because God knows it's going to be terrible. But enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you guys again on Saturday. Big Dog, that was great again.
Cheerio, mate.